Are your colonists mad at you because they ate without a table? The raiders are giving you grief and Randy is laughing at you from his golden throne? Don't give up, for I have all the tips you need to master RimWorld. Make sure you don't skip the advanced tips at the end, subscribe now for more daily videos, and let's begin. When you're choosing where you place your colony, you have to consider that different biomes require different strategies. Temperate forest has a lot of trees and soil for growing. Deserts are barren and usually quite hot. Ice sheets are very cold. Swamps might have a lot of rich soil, but there's less building space due to mud, etc. If you click on the terrain button, it shows you a more detailed description of the tile. It's always important to know the average temperature so you know the type of clothing you'll need. The growing period is very important. If you're in a warm biome, you might be able to grow crops all year long, while living in tundra might mean you only have 1 month per year to grow your food. Settling next to a river can be useful to slow down enemies, and it provides power. Mountains are great defensively, but there's danger of infestation. Building close to geothermal vents for power generation or near rich soil spots for faster farming can be beneficial as well. Flat terrain will have more space to grow crops, but mountains will provide you with more stone to build your base. Type of stone also matters. Marble is great for extra beauty, while granite is the strongest of them all. Bonus tip: don't settle too close to other faction bases, they won't like that at all. Take your time when choosing your starting colonists. Note their traits, skills and passions, and old wounds. Even though you might be here to build the prettiest base, your colonists will face a lot of danger. Having high shooting skill will be the difference between life and death, and having one colonist good at melee so he can tank the incoming threats is very useful. Preferably your colonists will be incapable of none and have 0 old wounds. It's also important to start with someone that is good at growing plants, so you can get your food production going right from the start. Then have someone who's good at construction to build your base and someone intellectual enough to get the research going and take you to the next level. It's really good idea to have a good medic as well. The rest of the skills are of less importance right from the start. A jogger will make for a great hauler, a psychopath won't mind butchering human corpses, and an undergrounder will make a perfect miner. A lazy person will just work slower, a depressive pawn will break more often, and a pyromaniac will happily burn down your base. Before you unpause, I suggest giving your colonists manual priorities. Jobs on the left have a higher priority than jobs on the right. Empty square means they won't do it at all, and priorities go from 1 to 4, 1 being the highest and 4 being the lowest. Make sure everyone's firefighting and patient are number 1 priority, and I like to keep my people on 1 for bed rest as well. Everything else should be planned according to their skills. There's an exception for patient job. I prefer to have my main doctor on 1 for doctor job and 2 for patient, which means he'll go and tend to others before going to bed himself. You can also enable self-tend for doctors, but it's usually better than another colonist with at least some skill tends to the doc instead. You can also manually tell your colonist to prioritize a job, and you can hold shift to queue multiple jobs. I also advise the use of night shifts when you have a larger colony so the work never stops. Janitors and cooks are especially good when working overnight, so people can wake up to a clean base and a fresh meal. Bonus tip: you can have multiple researchers working multiple research benches or have them work on one bench with day and night shifts. Before you start building your base, right-click on Unforbid tool and allow all visible items. That way you don't need to hunt down scattered steel, wood, and meals all over the map. Everything you build should be in your home zone. You can click on the little house icon to toggle automatic home zoning on and off. Your colonists will only repair buildings if they're inside your home zone, and you can click the little hammer icon to automatically rebuild any destroyed structures in your home zone. When building your base, you want to avoid cramped spaces like tight corridors or tiny rooms. Also give them light. Darkness will slow down movement and work speed of your pawns, while light will boost it. Same with temperature. Too hot or too cold will have a work speed penalty on workbenches. Optimizing temperature in your buildings is important. Heating a single corridor and then connecting the vents to bedrooms is more efficient than heating one bedroom and connecting to other bedrooms via the first. A place to cool down and freeze your food is of utmost importance and should be one of the first buildings you construct. Layering your fridge with double walls, building airlock entrance, and adding fast doors. Stone is slow, metal and wood is fast, while making sure to add extra coolers based on the size of your stockpile will keep your food fresh for a long time. Bonus tip: don't build a walk-through fridge that pawns use to get from point A to point B. One entrance is best to keep it cool. Farming is essential for survival of your colony. You can click the fertility overlay button to easily see where to grow your food. It's best if you can use rich soil with 140% fertility, but normal soil will do just fine as well. The biggest threat to farming is blight. When it strikes, it can quickly spread if you don't cut the infected plants. It can jump between growing zones, so keep 4 to 5 tiles between to prevent that. You can manually tell them to cut it all by shift-clicking. You can turn off sowing in a zone until blighted plants are cut, or you can keep your farmers with cutting as a higher priority than growing. Sometimes you might want to harvest only certain plants on the map. For instance, when ambrosia sprout happens, you can drag a growing zone on top of those plants and forbid sowing. That way your pawns will wait until the plants there are mature and then go harvest them. You can do the same with berries, wild hill root patches, or trees. When producing power, variety is key. Wind turbines are very erratic, solar panels don't work overnight or in eclipses, you need a steady supply of wood or camp fuel for wood and camp fuel generators, water mills require water source, and while geothermal generators are great, there's a limited amount of geysers on the map. Wind turbines will get blocked by trees and walls, but you can build solar panels or grow crops in the white squares designated the wind area. You've probably also learned that full batteries can cause short-circuit events, discharging all the power and causing fires. But having a full set of batteries in reserve is always prudent. Using a power switch, you can seal off a set of batteries that can be used in an emergency, and since they're not on the grid, they won't cause a short circuit. When designing your base, one single entrance area is the best. While RimWorld is moving further away from traditional kill box design with each update, it still works most of the time. Trap corridors with doors placed in a way that your colonists can reach each trap without having to step on any of them will negate any trap accidents and weaken the invading force before they even get to you. Having a couple of sandbanks or barricades placed at the entrance will also prevent the raiders from standing behind cover at the bend and force them to move in. Trees and stone chunks also provide plenty of cover, so make sure you clear them out of the way. Certain terrain like water, mud, and sand will also slow down enemies, making it easier for your colonists to take them out. If you use turrets, you can turn them off when you don't need them to save power. You can do this manually one by one, use a switch like with batteries to turn them all off, or build a single unconnected power conduit and make them reconnect to it, turning them off instantly and without the need to unpause. Bonus tip: you can bait raiders to old ruins by claiming structures on the map. It can buy you some time to prepare while they smash ancient urns to pieces. You need to prepare for the biome you live in with appropriate clothing. Dusters and cowboy hats will help you keep cool in hot environment, while parkas and toques will keep you warm in cold climate. Each material has a different effect on clothing as well. Some will keep you warm, some will keep you cool, and some will provide greater protection against sharp, blunt, and heat damage. Quality and condition of apparel affects how much protection you gain. Tattered apparel will also give your colonists a mood debuff, which you can prevent by managing your outfits. Here you can make sure they only wear clothing with 51% or higher hit points. You can tell them what quality they can equip, forbid certain items you don't want them to wear like parkas in your desert base, or forbid tainted apparel. Bonus tip: you can strip down raiders before they die to ensure you get some good items and prevent the tainted debuff. Your colonists like a clean place. It's not only prettier raising their mood, it also helps to prevent food poisoning from meals and infections of injured pawns. Cooked meals are much better than the sludge from the nutrient paste dispenser, but they come with added risk of food poisoning if your cook is unskilled or your kitchen is dirty. If you have your butcher stable in the same room as a stove, it automatically increases the chances of bad meals, even if the room itself is clean. So, move your butcher stable away and keep your kitchen clean. Sterile tiles are great but expensive. If you can afford them, build them in your hospital, your kitchen, and if you have some extra silver, in your research lab as well, as it will boost the research speed a bit. Janitors should also dispose of the corpses as they make people unhappy. You can bury or burn them. You can keep them in an out-of-the-way fridge for your carnivore animals to eat, or you can turn them into meat and leather. Leather can be sold or turned into apparel, while meat can be combined with vegetables to create kibble for your animals. Bonus tip: people hate butchering other people, but if you use a psychopath or a bloodlusty pawn, you can avoid the negative thoughts. Eventually, you will want your pawns to go full bionic, increasing their manipulation, speed, sight, etc. by a lot, making them superhuman. For now, all you have is a colonist with a nasty addiction. One slightly extreme way to ensure they stay in their cozy bed is switch their legs with wooden peg legs and then remove those. They won't be able to move and will ensure they don't suffer multiple devastating mental breaks while recovering from their addiction. And once you get to the bionics, you can then give the freshly recovered pawn a set of beautiful new legs. Same technique can be used with prisoners you don't intend to recruit. Give them peg legs, remove them, and then you can safely harvest all their precious organs without the fear they will attempt to stage an escape attempt. It's hard to put all my knowledge of RimWorld in a short video, but here's a couple of bonus tips. You can milk boomalopes for chem fuel. When fighting fire indoors, destroy a piece of roof or a wall to equalize the temperature with the outdoors. Infestations only spawn in tiles with overhead mountain, and they prefer darkness over light. Shield belts can easily be broken by EMP grenades, and mechanoids can be stunned with EMP. And last but not the least, keep an eye on your wealth. The wealthier you are, the stronger the raids. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know some tips you have for newer players in the comments down below, and check out my top 10 mods video if you want to spice your playthrough with some cool mods. Thank you for watching.